Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Today we're going to take a look at some figures from The Force Awakens once again. However, in this review we're going to take a look at figures from the Armour Up series. Now, for those of you that don't know, there are basically two ranges to collect from the 3 3/4 inch Force Awakens line. There's the Build-A-Weapon figures that I've been giving you a look at over the course of some of my previous reviews, and then there's the Armour Up series, which is essentially the same thing, although instead of being able to combine a weapon using the parts included with the Build-A-Weapon series, with these Armour Up figures you get sort of clip-on armour for your action figures. You know, you get the same amount of plastic for your money, but you know, it's just a little bit of something different. It's a gimmick, you know, it's very cartoonish, in many cases very goofy, but with certain characters and with certain Armour Up pieces it actually works, and one of those figures is the one we're about to look at today, and it's none other than this guy, the Resistance pilot himself, Poe Dameron. Now, as I said, it's a very cheesy gimmick, and I'm sure you'll see that right off the bat. The Armour Up pieces are very big, very clunky, and they're very 1990s. You know, these are definitely something that would fit right at home with the Power of the Force line. But I think in that respect, that's the real charm of the line, is that it's very cartoonish. And in many ways, it's a toy. You know, it's meant to be played with, it's meant to, you know, provide fun. And this particular figure does. You know, some of the other Armour Up figures, not so much. They do look a bit cheesy and way too ridiculous. But this one, in a weird sort of way, works, and I'm a big fan of it. So we'll talk about it in a bit more detail as this review goes on. But before we do that, as always, we're going to take a look at the packaging that this figure comes in. Now, as you'll see, we do get slightly different packaging with the Armour Up series. We have more of a presentation box style to this one, rather than the standard card backs that we've seen on the Build-A-Weapon series. This is also very reminiscent of the Force Awakens 2 packs that are currently available, which feature figures such as BB-8 and the Jakku Scavengers, Ahsoka Tano and Darth Vader from Rebels. You know, it's that sort of packaging design. Not really sure how Hasbro have justified the price of some of these figures. In the UK alone, we currently pay $9.99 for the Build-A-Weapon series, which I suppose in many ways is classed as the basic line, and then we pay an extra £1, $10.99, for these Armour Up series figures. Now, as I said, you get the same amount of plastic with these guys, but more packaging, and I think, you know, that's what we're really paying for, and quite frankly, I don't know why. It's a little bit strange, definitely. For those of you in the States who may be watching this review, I'm sure you'll be spitting and screaming at the camera, as you're paying even more for these. You know, the basic Build-A-Weapon series figures cost $6.99, whereas these Armour Up figures are $12.99, again, for the same amount of plastic. So Hasbro's pricing with these figures is all over the place, it seems, but, you know, take it or leave it. It's one of those lines that you either love or you hate, and I'm definitely on the fence at the moment. Some of the figures are good, some of them not so good. You know, I don't know. It's one of those things. But as you can see, the packaging itself is really nice. I love this presentation box feel. As you can see down the side there, you do have a really cool image of Poe Dameron in action. Once again, portrayed by Oscar Isaac. We also have an image at the top of the card of Kylo Ren, with the Force Awakens logo just at the side. And we also have an image of the Armour Up piece featured on the front. Now on the reverse side, we get a look at some of the other figures available in the Armour Up series. We have Chewbacca, who comes with a sort of wearable prison cell in many ways. Looks a little bit strange. We have Boba Fett there with some clip-on Mandalorian armour. We have Finn in some cold weather gear. And we have the Flame Trooper with some strange contraption. So that is the packaging that this figure comes in. Now let's take a look at the figure itself, and as I said, there's a certain nostalgic charm to this one. It does look a little bit gimmicky, a little bit ridiculous in many ways, but there's just something about it that I personally quite like. We do have realistic accessories with this one, such as the pilot helmet, but then of course you've got these really exaggerated features such as the chest plate there, the shoulder pieces which look like something from American football, and we have a ridiculous jetpack on the back. So You know, very gimmicky, very 1990s, but something about it just clicks for me personally. I realise that these aren't going to be to everyone's taste, especially not for the price, but for me personally it was a figure that I had to have. Now, one of the key things about this figure is the fact that obviously the armour up piece can be removed, and underneath we have a really nice action figure of Poe Dameron in his Resistance uniform. Now, there are a couple of different Poe Dameron figures available on the market at the moment. We have the standard Resistance pilot version, we have the X-Wing fighter pack-in figure which has a removable helmet. There are a multitude of different figures of Poe available at the minute, and this one is possibly one of the better ones. The facial sculpt is decent at best. You know, it doesn't particularly look like Oscar Isaac, and it would appear that Oscar is the new Mark Hamill for Hasbro, in the sense that they don't seem to be able to get his head sculpt quite right just yet. As you can see, the rest of the figure, however, is decorated in his Resistance uniform. Poe is wearing a jacket very similar to that of Finn, so it'll be interesting to see whether Finn is pulling a Lando and has stolen Finn's clothes, Poe's clothes rather, in The Force Awakens. You know, interesting to see how that'll play out. Obviously underneath we just have a regular tan shirt and brown pants with some black boots, and he does come with a very cool blaster rifle weapon which does appear to be able to dish out some really heavy punishment. Now, in terms of articulation, Poe does retain the standard 5 points that we've seen throughout some of these other figures. We have a ball joint at the head, swivels at the shoulders and swivels at the hips. But again, the sculpt is decent, the likeness is, you know, so-so, not so good, not so bad, and the armour up piece is a charming little addition if you want to look at it that way. Again, I realise that these aren't going to appeal to everyone, but for me personally there was just something about it that clicked and made me want to buy it. Other than that, it's a take it or leave it figure. You know, if you want to just pick up one of each of the core characters from the movie, then possibly the pilot version is the way to go, and I'll be giving you a look at that figure next. However, if you want to add this guy to your collection, then be sure to do so as always via the link in the video description. That will take you to staractionfigures.co.uk, where he's currently available at the time of filming this review for pre-order. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look at this guy. Once again, Poe Dameron from the Force Awakens Armour Up series, and I'll be back to give you a look at some more figures very, very soon. So until then, as always, thank you for watching, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.